Connecting minds across the globe. Welcome to Easy Insights Radio.
Have you ever, found yourself in a situation where you just needed to explain something incredibly simple to someone?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Right. And suddenly, your brain completely freezes up.
Totally.
You're just standing there and your mind is racing, and you suddenly feel this immense pressure to, I don't know, sound like a walking dictionary.
Like you have to be the smartest person in the room all of a sudden.
Exactly. You start searching your mental filing cabinet for, the most complicated, sophisticated words you can find.
Yeah, the big ones.
Right. And before you know it, you are entirely lost in your own sentence.
It's a horrible feeling.
It really is. But, if you're listening and this happens to you, you are not alone.
Definitely not.
Today, we're basically dismantling the illusion that complex English makes you sound smart.
Because it really doesn't.
No, it doesn't. In fact, we're going to prove that trying to sound smart is exactly what's making you impossible to understand.
Which is such a wild paradox.
It is. So, welcome to the deep dive. We are taking a long, hard look at the actual mechanics of how we communicate today.
And we have some really great material for this.
Yeah, we're using insights from a text called The Simple Path to Conversational English Mastery.
And I have to say, it's a text that just hits hard.
Oh, completely.
Because it exposes a trap that, almost everyone falls into at some point.
Right.
The core argument is right there in the title, really. Speaking English effectively is actually very simple.
But we make it so hard.
Exactly. We construct these massive psychological and grammatical roadblocks for ourselves.
We really do.
We convince ourselves that to be respected or to be taken seriously, we need difficult grammar and these enormous vocabulary words.
Okay, let's unpack this root cause, because I have to push back on this immediately.
Okay, go for it.
Because I know exactly what you, the listener, are probably thinking right now.
What's that?
Well, if I walk into a corporate boardroom, right? Or if I'm sitting down for a performance review with my manager.
Right, a high-stakes situation.
Yeah. And I start speaking in incredibly basic foundational sentences. Aren't they going to think I'm uneducated?
That is the fear, yeah.
Right. So how do we possibly balance this idea of simple English with the very real need for professional respect?
It's tough.
Because we live in a world that judges us on how we present ourselves. It just does.
That is the exact tension we need to explore here. Because why do adults feel this immense pressure to abandon the simple stuff?
Right. Why do you do it?
Well, if we look at the sociological underpinnings of linguistic validation, the internalized prioritization of academic signaling within professional paradigms.
Wait, what?
Let me stop right there. See, I'm doing it right now.
You totally were. I was completely lost.
I was lost too. Okay, let me just say it simply. We are trained in school that big words mean you are smart.
Oh, wow, yeah. That makes so much more sense.
Right. Think about how essays are graded when you're a kid.
You get rewarded for hitting a word count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get points for using a thesaurus to replace the word good with advantageous.
Right, or stringing together these really long, winding arguments just to fill the page.
We internalize this idea that if a sentence is hard to write, it must be valuable.
Oh, that's such a good way to put it.
And then we carry that ego trap into adulthood. We want to project this aura of intellectual superiority.
Because we think that's what adults do.
But the thing is, communication is not an academic essay.
So you're saying we are basically running the wrong software for the hardware of human conversation.
Precisely. That's a great analogy. The fundamental engine of human connection is not complexity.
What is it then?
It's clarity.
Clarity. Okay.
When you use that academic signaling in a conversation, you're prioritizing your own ego over the listener's understanding.
Oh, that's heavy.
It is. You're forcing the listener to decode your intelligence rather than just handing them your idea.
Making them do the work.
Right. And the text we're looking at, using an analogy that strips this right down to the studs, it asks us to look at children.
Oh, right. Like when a child wants a cookie,
Exactly.
the child walks up to you and just says, I want a cookie.
And what happens?
The message is transmitted, it's received, and it's acted upon. You get them a cookie.
Right. The child doesn't say, I would highly appreciate it if you could facilitate the transfer of a baked good into my possession.
That would be hilarious, but no, they don't do that.
And that's exactly what proves the point here.
Yeah.
The child has absolutely zero ego involved in the communication.
Not at all.
They simply want to transfer a concept from their brain to your brain.
Just idea to idea.
Yeah, and because they use basic foundational words, everyone understands them instantly.
There's no decoding necessary.
But the irony is that as adults, we look at that child and think, well, that is childish language. I must upgrade it.
Right, like trying to build a massive mansion on your first day of construction instead of just putting a few simple blocks together.
Yes. But the so-called upgrade is what destroys the clarity. The mansion just collapses.
Okay, I see the philosophy here. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, let's test it in the real world.
Let's do it.
Let's look at how this pressure to sound sophisticated actually plays out in a normal, everyday interaction.
The source material gives a fantastic scenario for this.
Yeah, about something as mundane as inviting a coworker to lunch.
Right.
So if I'm trapped in that adult ego mindset, trying to sound really professional and polite, I might walk up to your desk and say something like, if your schedule is available today, would you have the desire to consume some food at the restaurant with me at 1 p.m.?
Just hearing that makes me physically uncomfortable.
It's so bad, right?
It feels heavy, doesn't it? Like wading through mud just to figure out what you want from me.
It is exhausting, but let's actually break down the mechanics of why it's exhausting.
Let's do it.
Because on paper, all of those words are technically English. I haven't broken any grammatical laws.
You haven't broken grammatical laws? No.
Oh.
But you have completely violated the rules of human connection.
Okay, tell me how.
Well, let's look at the phrase, consume some food.
Yeah, the text calls that out specifically.
Because it's a classic symptom of the overthinking epidemic. You were searching for a formal synonym for eat.
Because eat felt too simple.
Right. But consume is clinical. It's biological.
It sounds like an alien.
It does. An engine consumes fuel, you know? A fire consumes oxygen.
But a human being doesn't consume lunch with a friend.
Exactly. By trying to elevate the vocabulary, you stripped all the warmth and humanity out of the interaction.
I really did.
You made it sound like, yeah, an alien trying to blend in.
And then there's the other part. If your schedule is available.
Oh, that one is so common.
I catch myself doing things like this in emails all the time, actually. You're trying to be respectful of someone's time, so you address their schedule instead of them.
But a schedule isn't a living entity.
Right.
A schedule isn't available. A person is free or busy.
That makes total sense.
The text specifically labels this type of speech as heavy and stressful.
Stressful is the perfect word for it.
And it's important to understand why it's stressful. It requires massive cognitive load from the speaker to construct that unnatural phrasing.
Right, because I have to think so hard to build that sentence.
And then it requires equal cognitive load from the listener to decode it on the other end.
So what is the simple alternative that the text suggests? How do we strip the ego out of the lunch invite entirely?
You just ask, are you free for lunch today?
That's it. Are you free for lunch today?
That's it. 7 words.
7 words.
Completely effortless to say. Completely effortless to understand.
But, okay, let me channel our skeptical listener again for a second.
Bring them back.
Are you free for lunch today feels almost too basic.
I hear that a lot.
It feels like A1 or A2 level English, like the stuff you learn in your very first week of a language class.
Right.
Shouldn't we be striving for, like, C1 or C2 advanced fluency? I mean, isn't that the goal?
This is perhaps the most dangerous misconception in language learning. And the text addresses it directly.
What does it say?
It states that this simple phrasing is 100% correct. There is this false belief that foundational grammar, like A1 and A2 level, is somehow lesser than.
Yeah, that it's just stepping stones.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that true fluency means abandoning it completely.
But that's not true.
No, simple does not mean incorrect. Simple means efficient.
Efficient, I like that.
Native speakers use foundational grammar for the vast majority of their daily interactions.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Are you free for lunch today? Cannot be improved upon by making it more complex.
It's already doing its job perfectly.
Right. Adding a more advanced vocabulary word doesn't make the question better. It only obscures the primary function, which is just to get a yes or no answer.
So, I mean, it's like trying to build a house, right? You don't abandon the concrete foundation just because you've learned how to build a second floor.
That's exactly it.
The foundation is what holds the whole thing up.
And yet people constantly try to build the second floor without the foundation.
It's crazy when you think about it.
Let's actually take your earlier challenge about the corporate environment. You asked if speaking simply would make you look uneducated in a high-stakes setting like a job interview.
Yeah, I did. Let's role play that for a moment, actually.
Okay, let's do it. Imagine I am interviewing you for a management position.
Okay.
I ask you, tell me about a time you solved a difficult problem. Now, give me the overthought, ego-driven, I need to sound smart answer.
Oh, man, I've definitely done this in the past. Okay, here we go.
Let's hear it.
In my previous professional engagement, we were experiencing a synergistic misalignment between the marketing and sales divisions, which subsequently necessitated the implementation of a cross-functional communication paradigm to rectify the operational bottlenecks.
Okay, I'm already asleep.
Hmm.
Or worse, I am actively suspicious of you.
Suspicious. Wait, why suspicious? I used all the right buzzwords.
Because when people use that much corporate jargon,
Yeah.
synergistic misalignment, cross-functional paradigm, the listener instinctively feels like the speaker is hiding something.
Oh, wow. Hiding behind the words.
Exactly. It sounds like you're trying to cover up a lack of actual substance with a giant wall of impressive-sounding vocabulary.
That makes total sense.
So now, give me the simple version. Tell me what actually happened, just using basic steps.
Okay, let me try. Sales and marketing were not talking to each other. It was causing delays. So I started a weekly meeting with both teams. We talked about our goals. The delays stopped.
Boom. Oh, that's it.
That felt so much easier to say.
And as a manager, I know exactly what the problem was, what action you took, and what the result was.
Nothing is lost in translation.
It shows confidence. It shows clarity of thought. The person who needs to hide behind synergistic misalignment is basically insecure.
Wow.
But the person who just says sales and marketing were not talking is entirely secure in their competence.
Okay, that is a massive perspective shift, but it brings up a real mechanical challenge that we need to talk about.
What's that?
Well, asking a simple question about lunch is one thing, right?
Sure.
Giving a 5-sentence answer in a job interview is harder, but it's manageable. Okay. But the real danger zone, and this leads logically into the next major phenomenon our source material breaks down, is what happens when we try to tell a long, continuous story.
Oh, yes.
Because that is where the brain really starts to panic.
Yes, because that is where we fall into the translation trap.
What's fascinating here is how universal this is. I want to spend a lot of time on this because I really think this is the single biggest hurdle for anyone communicating complex ideas.
I completely agree.
What exactly is the translation trap?
Okay, so when someone asks you a conversational question like, what did you do yesterday? Your brain instantly forms a highly complex, nuanced narrative in your native language.
Right, you instantly have all these thoughts.
Yeah, you have all these interwoven thoughts about the weather, your mood, your schedule, your decisions. Everything is connected.
And it all makes perfect sense in your head.
Exactly. But the trap is attempting to translate that massive, complex structure, word for word, into English in real time.
Oh, man.
It's nearly impossible.
The text actually gives us a really painful illustration of this. A student is asked, "What did you do yesterday?" And they try to translate their entire thought process into one single breath.
And how does it come out?
It comes out exactly like this. "Yesterday, because the weather was very inclement and rainy, I decided that staying at my residence was the best option, which allowed me to watch a cinema."
Oof. It is a spectacular train wreck of a sentence.
It really is, and we need to dissect exactly why the train derailed.
Yes, let's look at the pieces.
Because it wasn't just one mistake, right? It was a cascading failure of cognitive overload.
That's a perfect description. Let's talk about that cognitive load. What is actually happening in the speaker's brain when they start a sentence with the word because?
Okay, yeah. What happens there?
This is where we have to look at the actual mechanics of working memory. Human working memory is incredibly limited.
Like RAM in a computer.
Exactly like RAM. Cognitive psychology tells us that the brain can only hold about 7 pieces of new information in active memory at any given time.
7? That's not a lot.
It's really not. So when you use a connector word like because, right at the very beginning of a sentence, because the weather was very inclement, you have just opened a massive grammatical loop.
Oh, I see.
You're holding that entire first thought in your active memory while simultaneously trying to construct the second half of the sentence to resolve it.
It's like trying to lay train tracks in front of a moving train.
That is a brilliant way to visualize it.
You've started the train by saying because, and now your brain is frantically sprinting ahead, trying to lay the grammatical tracks for which, and therefore so the sentence doesn't crash.
Yes, you're burning up all your cognitive bandwidth, just managing the syntax, the structure of the sentence.
Just keeping the train on the rails.
Exactly. And when you're dedicating, say, 90% of your brain power to balancing those grammatical equations, you have very little brain power left over for choosing the right words.
Which is exactly why the speaker makes such bizarre vocabulary choices.
Exactly.
Like the text points out the words inclement and residence. Nobody says inclement weather in a casual conversation about their weekend.
Never.
You only hear that from, like, A meteorologist on the local news during a severe storm warning.
Right. And residents, I mean, the speaker knows the word home.
They definitely know the word house.
Of course they do.
Oh.
But their brain rejected those foundational words because they felt too simple for this massive complex sentence structure they were building.
So they reached for residence just to sound advanced.
Exactly. And then there's watch a cinema. That is the ultimate casualty of the translation trap right there.
Oh, yeah, watch a cinema.
You watch a movie, you go to the cinema, you don't watch a building.
Unless you're a security guard, maybe.
Ah, fair point.
Yeah.
But this happens because the dictionary definition of a word does not always match its actual everyday usage.
Right.
When your brain is panicked and overloaded by complex grammar, you just grab the first advanced-sounding noun you can find in your mental dictionary.
Without considering how it's actually used in context.
Exactly. You're just trying to fill the slot before the sentence collapses.
And, I mean, we are only talking about the speaker's brain so far.
Sure.
What about the listener? If I'm listening to you tell me a story and you hit me with, because the weather was very inclement, I decided staying at my residence was the best option, which allowed me
My brain is shutting down.
completely shutting down. I am no longer picturing your weekend.
No, you're just trying to parse the grammar.
You are forcing the listener to do mental gymnastics.
You're making them hold the because clause, wait for the resolution, and then untangle the bizarre vocabulary on top of it.
It's exhausting for everyone involved.
It really is.
Yeah.
The desire to sound smart has resulted in communication that is actively hostile to the listener.
Actively hostile. I love that phrasing. So if the translation trap is caused by these long, complex sentences, and if connector words like because and which eat up all our working memory, what is the mechanical solution?
How do we fix it?
Yeah, how do we rescue our storytelling without sounding like a robot?
Well, the source material provides a brilliantly simple solution for this.
Let's hear it.
It's called the power of the small step.
Okay, I love this concept. Let's look at how the text rewrites that exact same exhausting story about the rainy weekend using the small step method.
Read it out for us.
It goes like this. Yesterday, it rained, so I stayed home. I watched a movie. It was nice.
Notice the breathing room in that narrative.
It has a totally different rhythm. It feels so calm.
It feels calm because it respects both the speaker's cognitive limits and the listener's processing speed.
It's just pacing it out.
Let's break down the mechanics. It relies entirely on short, independent sentences. Step 1, it rained.
Step 2, I stayed home.
Step 3, I watched a movie.
The text explicitly advises speakers not to connect everything into one giant sentence, and now I finally understand why.
It's dangerous.
When you isolate each thought into its own small step, you completely eliminate the need for all that complex grammatical scaffolding.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about those grammatical traps that English teachers call subordinate clauses.
Okay, let's clarify what that means for a layperson. What exactly is a subordinate clause?
A subordinate clause is essentially a thought that cannot stand on its own,
Okay,
like because it was raining.
right. If you just walk up to me and say, because it was raining, I'm waiting for the rest of the sentence.
Exactly. It depends on the rest of the sentence to make sense.
Yeah.
It is needy grammar.
Needy grammar.
It forces you to keep talking to resolve the tension.
So it's the needy grammar that eats up the working memory.
Precisely. By using the small step approach, you only use independent clauses.
Subject, verb, object.
Yes.
Huh,
I watched a movie. It is a complete self-contained package of information.
I see.
You deliver the package, you put a period at the end of it, you take a breath, and then you pick up the next package.
You're just delivering information in bite-sized pieces.
And think about how generous that is to the listener.
Oh, totally.
You are giving them one clear image at a time. Picture rain. Picture
Yeah.
staying home. Picture a movie.
It's so easy to digest.
As the text states, anyone can understand that. And equally importantly, anyone can say that.
You're removing the friction from the transaction entirely.
Exactly.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's put this to the test.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
I'm going to challenge you right now to describe your morning to me from the moment you woke up to the moment we started recording.
Oh boy.
But you have to strictly follow the rules of the source text. You can only use simple foundational sentences, 3 to 5 words maximum, small steps only, no needy grammar.
Okay, all right, I accept the challenge. Let me process this in small steps.
Go for it.
I woke up. I felt very tired. I walked to the kitchen. I made hot coffee. I drank the coffee. I felt much better. I gathered my notes. I drove to the studio. We started talking.
That is fascinating.
How did it sound?
It doesn't sound childish at all. Yeah, it actually sounds like a very punchy, confident, almost cinematic way of telling a story, like a detective novel.
Oh, like noir fiction, I see what you mean.
Yeah. I woke up, I drank the coffee. It's very cool, actually.
I'll tell you what, it's incredibly liberating from a cognitive standpoint.
I bet.
When I restricted myself to those small steps just now, I realized how much mental energy I usually waste trying to build transitions.
Oh, right.
I didn't have to scan my brain for words like subsequently or furthermore or nevertheless.
You didn't need them.
No. And I didn't have to worry about dangling modifiers either.
Wait, what's a dangling modifier?
Those are those awkward grammatical mistakes where you try to connect two thoughts and end up saying something ridiculous like, driving to the studio, the coffee spilled.
Oh, making it sound like the coffee was driving the car.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. But by stripping away all those transitions, you just handed me the raw data of your morning.
I let the sequence of events do the work instead of forcing the language to do the work.
Wow. That's a huge takeaway. Let the sequence of events do the work.
Yes.
But, even when people understand this intellectually, I mean, even when they know they should use simple words and short sentences, there is still one final psychological barrier that causes them to freeze up.
Yeah, there is.
And the text tackles this head on.
It does. We're talking about the perfection myth.
A paralyzing fear of the tiny mistake.
Yes. This is the moment where someone has built a perfectly simple sentence in their head, like, yesterday I go to Tokyo.
Okay, yeah.
And right before they open their mouth, they realize, wait, yesterday is past tense. I should say went, not go. If I say go, I am making a grammatical error.
Right. The internal red pen comes out.
Exactly. And so rather than making the error, they say nothing at all. They just freeze.
This is the most tragic part of the overthinking epidemic, isn't it?
It really is. People sacrifice the human connection because they are terrified of the perfection police.
Let's actually look at that specific example from the text because it's so good. Yesterday, I go to Tokyo.
Right. If I am an English teacher with a red pen, I am marking that wrong.
Yeah, you have to.
Yes, on a written exam,
Yeah.
it is definitively incorrect. But let's look at it through the lens of human communication.
Okay.
The text makes a profound, foundational argument here. Even if you say, yesterday I go to Tokyo, people still understand you.
Because the meaning is completely 100% intact.
Yes. Why is it intact? Because the word yesterday acts as a time machine.
Time machine. I love that.
It really does. The word yesterday already establishes the context. The listener's brain automatically hears yesterday and sets the timeline to the past.
So they don't even need the verb to do that work.
Exactly. The verb go might be grammatically clumsy in that spot, sure, but it does not destroy the transmission of the idea. I know you were in Tokyo in the past.
But the internal monologue of the speaker is so harsh, isn't it?
Oh, brutal.
The text points out that people think, if I make a mistake, I am bad at English. People will think I'm stupid.
And that mindset is fundamentally flawed because it misunderstands the very purpose of language.
This raises an important question then. What is the purpose?
Why do we speak? We do not speak to pass a grammar test. We speak to share our reality.
Right.
We speak to inform, to persuade, to connect. If I say, yesterday I go to Tokyo, and you understand that I was in Tokyo, the language has succeeded. Full stop.
The communication was flawless, even if the grammar was flawed.
Exactly.
That is a massive paradigm shift. Successful communication does not equal perfect grammar.
It requires separating your self-worth from your syntax.
Oh, that's a tweetable quote right there. Separate your self-worth from your syntax.
It's true. I mean, think about native speakers.
Oh, we make mistakes constantly.
Native speakers make grammatical errors all day long. They use the wrong prepositions, they mix up their tenses, they lose their train of thought halfway through a sentence.
Guilty as charged.
But they don't stop talking.
Yeah.
Because they aren't worried about being graded. They're just focused on transferring the idea.
It makes me think about how many ideas are lost in the workplace every single day because of this fear.
Countless ideas.
Imagine someone sitting in a meeting. They have a brilliant solution to a massive problem.
But they hold it back.
Yeah, they hold it back because they aren't 100% sure if they should use in, on, or at for a specific phrase.
It breaks my heart.
Mm-hmm.
They let a tiny preposition stand in the way of a brilliant idea.
They prioritize the fear of perfection over the value of their contribution.
Precisely.
So to you, the listener, the text is offering a very, very clear directive here.
Do not let the fear of a minor mistake silence you.
Please don't. If you drop an S off the end of a third-person verb, the world will not end.
The conversation will continue.
Trust the basic foundational grammar you already possess. Speak clearly, speak simply, and let the ideas do the heavy lifting.
It really is about changing your metric for success. Success is not a perfect sentence. Success is a shared understanding.
A shared understanding.
When you embrace that, the text promises that speaking English actually becomes easy.
Because you get out of your own way.
Right. The difficulty was never baked into the language itself. The difficulty was entirely in the impossible standards we constructed in our own minds.
So what does this all mean? Let's pull all of these threads together because we've covered a lot of ground today.
We really have.
We have journeyed from the corporate boardroom to the mechanics of human memory, all centered on this one transformative text.
It's a lot to process.
It is. If we distill this down to its core, what is the blueprint for breaking out of the overthinking epidemic?
Okay, let's break it down into steps. First, you have to recognize the ego trap.
Right.
Stop trying to signal your intelligence through complex vocabulary. Remember the child analogy we talked about. Clarity is the ultimate engine of connection.
You do not need to consume food when you can simply eat.
Exactly. Second, respect the limits of cognitive load. Stop laying train tracks in front of a moving train.
Abandon the long, winding sentences.
Avoid the translation trap by avoiding connector words like because and which when you're speaking off the cuff.
Keep the train on solid ground.
Third, embrace the power of the small step. Subject, verb, object, period.
Deliver your ideas in bite-sized, self-contained packages.
It is easier for you to build, and it is vastly easier for your listener to absorb.
And finally,
destroy the perfection myth. Accept that yesterday I go to Tokyo is a successful piece of communication. Do not sacrifice your voice on the altar of flawless grammar.
which leads us to a broader philosophical conclusion, I think.
Let's hear it.
We have been trained to think of fluency as an act of continuous addition.
Addition. Right.
We think becoming fluent means adding more vocabulary flashcards to our deck, adding more complex grammar rules to our brain, adding longer sentences to our repertoire.
We think fluency means building a bigger mansion.
Exactly. But based on the mechanics of human communication we've explored today, true conversational mastery might actually be the exact opposite.
The exact opposite.
Perhaps true fluency isn't about knowing the most words. Perhaps true fluency is an act of subtraction.
Subtraction. Oh, that is powerful.
It's knowing exactly which unnecessary words, which ego-driven phrases, and which complex grammatical traps you can bravely strip away, leaving only the purest, simplest expression of your true thought.
Fluency as subtraction. That is a brilliant way to reframe it. When you subtract the ego, you are left with a connection.
Exactly. We hope this deep dive has shifted your perspective, not just on how you speak English, but on how you approach communication as a whole.
Don't let the dictionary in your head become a barrier to the world around you.
Take the small steps.
And remember that your ideas are far more important than your syntax.
As the text urges us, go out and practice your simple English right now. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We will see you next time.
For listening. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Bye.